You're welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Art Lewis Show. Nice to have you with us. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we'll have open phones. We'll also have some open phones later on this hour. And then at 11 o'clock this morning, we will learn about Aird Insurance Group. All of that coming up. But if we start the hour, I think we all, have different tolerances for stress in our life. We're going to talk a little bit about that this morning with Dr. William Beecroft. He is with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Dr. Beecroft, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for your time today.
Thanks for joining us. Am I right in saying that we all have stress in our lives one way or another, but we all deal with it differently?
Absolutely.
We all deal with it differently, don't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, everybody has it. You look at about 2/3 of Americans regularly feel stressed or stressed out. So it's very common for many people to have these issues.
How do we define stress? I mean, is it a medical definition? Is there such a thing?
Well, it probably is a real technical definition of it, but really the symptoms that you're looking for is difficulty in sleeping, having inordinate muscle tension, just feel like you're really tight all over. Sometimes people have digestive problems, heartburn, bowel issues, and then trouble concentrating, kind of staying in the conversation. That's difficulty. Irritability, anger, those are real common. You have a short fuse. When you start feeling that, all of those things together, probably you're under a lot of stress at that point.
A lot of people, and as I mentioned earlier, we all deal with it differently. Some people, it just seems to roll off their back. It doesn't bother them. They get on with life, or they ignore it. Others, you can spot them instantly that they're stressed out. It doesn't help to suppress it, does it?
It really doesn't, because it starts to take a physical toll on you. Stress, especially chronic stress, weakens your immune system, so you get more colds and flu, kind of the usual stuff. But you just don't have the ability to fight them off like you normally would. On a long-term basis, it starts to increase your blood pressure. You start eating more, eating high-calorie foods because it gives you some sense of control. You feel a little bit better, so you do it. So you gain weight. You have difficulty with heart problems potentially. So it can take its toll, and it doesn't take very long, 3 to 4 months into it. If you've got that routinely, your body's going to take a toll.
So, just out of curiosity, since we all have stress at one time or another, I may feel stressed today about something in my life. By tomorrow, it's history. Others may carry that stress with them for a long period of time. Is there, how do you relieve stress? How do you get past that long-term stressful situation?
Well, it's different for different people. Many times people have learned through school or their parents the issues of resiliency, how to be able to bounce back, how to be able to kind of slough it off and move on, resolve the problem and move forward. Others have not learned how to do that. And the simple things are to really start developing some habits to take care of yourself a little bit better, being able to learn how to set limits. When people are asking you to do this job after this one, after this one, after this one, you got 6 or 7 lined up and you can't get them all done. It's like maybe you need to say no once in a while. Or I'll do it in about 2 months because right now I've got other things on my plate that are more primary. So being able to set limits, being able to do those kinds of things to help you focus on what's important and what's not important, let go for a while. Those are things that can be helpful in the short term. Using substances is usually not a good solution. Because they themselves have a consequence. Now you get intoxicated, people around you get irritable and short-tempered because you're intoxicated. I mean, a whole negative cascade of things that can go bad, and that makes you more stressed. Short-term might help you a little bit. Long-term, not so good.
Let me use me as an example for a minute because I don't consider myself to be a stressed person. As a matter of fact, probably the other way. I probably ignore it when I shouldn't. Uh, and what's the dangers in not having any stress or telling yourself you don't have any stress?
Well, denial is a wonderful thing for a short period of time, and it does creep up on you. So that's the thing is you can say you don't have stress, but it's the fact that you're not recognizing it. So many people have it. There are very few people in the practice that I was in for 40 years in Lansing. I didn't meet anybody that didn't have any stress. There was lots of people that didn't think they had stress, but they ended up having real negative consequences in their family lives, in their personal lives. So being able to recognize when you've got a problem is a really good thing to be able to do that, and then start working with it to either resolve it or look at ways of being able to tolerate it. Other things you can do, things like exercise, being able to have a hobby or an interest that diverts you from thinking about that. Being able to do things for others, volunteer work sometimes can be very helpful, because then you can solve your problems by talking to other people. It comes to, oh, that's the issue here. I can do that. That can resolve those things that are causing you the stress.
What would you say is the biggest cause of stress in our lives?
It's different for different people. Many people, it's financial, especially now.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of uncertainty. You've got wars. You've got things like this going on. All of that uncertainty causes a significant amount of stress for people at a baseline. Then they get into the work issues, the politics at work, the amount of production. Somebody leaves the company and now you have to do two jobs. Those kinds of things add to it. Family issues. A new child can be a very stressful experience. A death of a person in the family can be a very stressful experience. So all of those kinds of things are things that are unpredictable that kind of go through our lives, but we have to learn how to be able to cope with them when they do happen, so that coping can be in a positive way, not create more problems.
I mean, it almost sounds like there's good stress and there's bad stress. Am I right?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, back in the 70s and 80s, there was this life stress index, and getting married was one of the highest stressful experiences that people had.
Many people would say staying married is higher. That's
Well, there's that. It takes a lot of work. Yeah.
That's an interesting comment. What happened to that study? They don't do them anymore?
I always fell out of favor. It's still something to kind of keep in the back of my mind, because it actually makes a lot of sense to be able to put things in different categories of that. But it doesn't get the press that it used to back, as I say, in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s.
So someone who's having stress, maybe not coping with it very well, is it safe to assume they should seek out some professional help?
Yes, that can be very helpful. I know people think that, I don't need to talk to anybody. What's a psychiatrist going to do for me, or a therapist that I don't know all myself? It's having someone that's trained to be able to look at the things that are helpful, the items that can cause people stress that they get into and can't really see their way out of, and to be able to give them other alternatives. Looking at, you can think about it as the smorgasbord of life. You have different alternatives that you don't always think about. And that's having someone that's objective from the outside, that doesn't have a relationship with you in an emotional way. They have a business relationship with you, and they're trying to apply the skills that they've learned in their training and experience about how other people have been able to work through this, and the tips and tricks that can be able to be helpful for you to move you forward and look at things in a different light. So it's not trying to figure out how you sit on the toilet sideways when you were a kid and this kind of stuff. It's how do you get out of this circumstance and move forward with your life in a positive direction, and use things that are helpful for you and healthy for you going forward.
Safe to assume that kind of professional help is covered by insurance?
Most insurances cover all of these things. It's part of it's part of Medicare. It's part of Medicaid. private insurances all cover psychotherapies and therapeutic mental health services and substance use disorder services.
Doctor, where can folks get more information about it?
We have a really good site at BlueCrossBlueShield.com. It's actually a public site, so they can be able to go to that, look at the mental health site. To be able to go through this, it talks about men's issues, women's issues, stress, depression. I mean, all of the different subjects that you can be able to do. We have podcasts. We have a healthy program that actually teaches you how to do relaxation techniques, exercise, those sorts of things. They have webinars essentially every day of the week. It's one of our programs that has actually been seen in 40 different countries. So it's been all over the world. It's been used by other people. So it can be used in Saginaw County just as well.
Last question. You mentioned men and women. Do they handle stress differently?
Absolutely. Different stresses, different experiences, some of the same problems, but they have different ways of being able to do that. And it's just the difference between us as we're raised, and our genetics also make a different factor in that too. And the stigma, men tend to try to deny things a lot more. Hey, I can bull my way through this and I'm fine.
Yep.
And women do it a different way. They recognize it a different way.
Well, Dr. Wheatcroft, I want to thank you for spending time with us this morning and talking about it. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have yourself a great day.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye
Hey,
now.
bye now.
Dr. William B. Croft, and he is with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, talking about stress this morning. Open phones for the remainder of the program right up through 11 o'clock this morning. And Jonathan Dent will be joining me probably after the 10 o'clock news this morning. But we have open phones at 989-752-6111.
The Michigan Antique.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show. Open phones till 11, 989-752-6111, whatever you'd like to chat about. Give us a call this morning. A couple of AI stories I pulled down. One of them has to do with Elon Musk and his lawsuit against OpenAI. He's lost, and it was a unanimous decision by a jury. But apparently it had more to do with statute of limitations than the facts of the case, so to speak. But the unanimous jury in Oakland, California, said Musk had brought his case too late, and they deliberated less than 2 hours. And even though his lawyers said they will reserve the right to appeal, the judge in the case probably advised him against it, saying that he was prepared to dismiss on the spot because of the late filing against the statutes of limitation. Whoops. So for Elon Musk, anyway, one down. Now, at the same time, the very person he sued, Sam Altman from OpenAI, has a new prediction. The headline was, "Will AI eat your job?" Altman, for a long time, predicted that well over 40% of jobs could be lost to AI. And he thought that would happen sooner than later. Well, he has now said that he is glad to be wrong about it. He thinks the numbers will be far less. And other AI company execs have also said the same thing, that we may be overly concerned about AI taking jobs. Now, there will be some job losses, and we've already seen some of that in administrative and routine things. But at least it doesn't look as dour as it once did. All right, let's go to our phones this morning, and Carl is with us in Saginaw. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Art. I don't know if you saw this story that the Republicans in Congress apparently are pushing a bill called the Sunshine Bill to make daylight savings time permanent.
I did see that.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I pulled that story out.
And it said that Trump is in favor of this law.
Yep.
And I just if Trump gets this passed, if they change the law for daylight savings time, I will take back everything I ever said about Donald Trump. And everything, any bad thing I ever said about him, if he can get this passed.
Well, it'll be interesting because it's come up before.
Yeah.
And this is one of those issues that there could be bipartisan support. There's been a lot of talk about it over the years. And there are two sides, of course. There's the side there are three sides, actually. There's the side that says, don't change anything, leave it the way it is. There's the side that says, make it standard time. And then there's what we see now in this particular bill that says, let's keep daylight savings time. Personally, and I've said this in the past, if it were to change, I would favor daylight savings time.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, this may be its best opportunity. Who knows? But I'll hold you to that on Trump.
Yes, but in the meantime, I'm afraid I still have to be critical.
Well, I figured that. I assumed that.
Yes. Talking about the war in Iran, we're now at day, 83, 84, something like that?
Almost 3 months, yeah.
Yes. And Trump said this was going to take 2 weeks at the beginning, which we know he always exaggerates. But, from everything I understand, Trump thought he was going to get regime change. After a week or two of bombing, the Iranians were going to say, "Uncle, we give up," but that didn't happen. And now Trump kind of seems to be at a loss for what to do.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
We're over the.
He's got his.
Well,
he's got his. Listen.
Well, some people.
I don't really care. I have to be honest here. I really don't care what they say in public. The only thing I care about is what's happening in private, and we don't know.
No.
There are negotiations, but we don't know where they stand and what each side wants. All we hear is we hear a nibble at this and a nibble at that, and no, they don't want to give up the uranium. Yes, they'll give it up. I've read two things today online that said exactly that. One said they'll never give up, and the other said they're planning to give up. Go figure.
Right.
Go figure. I don't know. I said in the beginning that while I was not necessarily against the action, I want to know what the end game is. I still have not heard that. So my support wanes accordingly.
I'm not sure what we've done so far is getting us any closer to getting that nuclear material.
I don't know. I don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know, So
I heard somebody say the Iranians have two speeds for negotiation, slow and slower.
They try and manipulate it. There's no doubt about it. But I listen. As we sit here talking to each other, there's nothing we can do. So all I want to know is, what's the plan? Somebody tell me, what's the plan? How do we know when it's time to cut and run? I don't know. I haven't heard it.
I
haven't heard it.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if we are going to hear it because it keeps.
I don't either. I mean, because we keep extending. So I don't know. All right.
Yeah, and okay. Well,
all
right.
Talk to you later. Take care. Bye bye now. One. You too. Lines open 989-752-6111. Give us a call. Here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show, open phones going on, and Greg is in Merrill this morning. Greg, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How are you doing?
We're doing well. Hope you are.
Well, I still got another complaint about, our U.S. prices on. Here's one example. Candy bars between us and Canada. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You go into our major grocery stores around here. They're $1.79 a piece. Okay? For all your candy bars. I don't care whether it's Reese's, Hershey's, whatever, You go north of the border up here, across the border, they are 98 cents Canadian.
So about
And they're-
about
and
75.
they're-
That's about 75 cents U.S.
That's right. Why are we getting more than double for the same product? I mean, their transportation costs are higher, their wages are higher, their fuel's higher. I'm sure their peanut butter's higher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And things
well,
like this.
let's take apples to apples though. If we look at that Hershey bar that you buy in Canada may not have been made in Canada, but still, I can't.
And I think they are.
Well, they may
Because
be.
they're-
I mean, I just they may.
everything they got up there on their shelves in the stores now, they're pushing Canada, Canada, Canada.
Well, yeah, I know that. That's for sure, and it's hurting.
Because
It's
they
hurting
don't
tourism.
want,
Yeah, it's hurting tourism right now.
yeah.
I can't answer that question. I don't know the answer to that. I know it's true,
mean,
but I can't answer it. I have no idea.
It's more than double. Unbelievable.
Well, it's like
There's certain things like that up there. It's just
Well,
it's unbelievable.
look
what
at look at prescription medications. The same thing.
I know. It's just when I don't know what's driving the prices here. I mean, you go to a convenience store, they're close to $3 for a candy bar anymore.
Well,
Which I
yeah,
never buy one.
Yeah, I've seen them less, but that's first of all, when I walk in a convenience store, I know I'm going to pay more for everything. That's why they
Right.
call it
I
convenience.
understand it.
but
Yeah.
comparing it to Canada, no, I can't do that. I have no idea why. It's worth looking into, but I have no idea why as I sit here right now. But it's true.
Yeah,
I know it's true.
Yeah. It just baffles me.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can find out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good enough. Thanks, Greg. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
And let's talk to Mark in Mount Pleasant. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
I am well. Hope you are.
Yeah. Next month I got a big trip planned, and you were actually on my mind. That made me make my purchase. About 4 years ago, used to drive cars around, talk about them, and so forth. My car is, I call it Old Shaky, and I'm going up to Mackinac City, and I just don't think she'll make it up there. So I'm renting from Freeland Airport, a Pacifica.
Uh-huh.
I remember you driving it around and talking about it, so I'm going to take my dogs. The only reason why I'm getting it, I could have got a convertible, but the dogs and so forth, I think that will have the
Well,
most room.
it does.
compared-
It's how many people? Just
7?
you alone?
Yeah, just me and my dogs.
You and your dogs. Well, in that case, I mean, to make it even better, I think, if I remember right, and again, it's been quite a while since I drove one, but I think even the second row seats fold flat, so you can have a cavernous inside for your dogs. Put out
Well,
mats.
that's what I'm hoping. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can have tons of room in that thing. That'll be a good ride for you.
Oh, yeah. I want to get back for the fireworks. Bay City's supposed to have a little extra something this year, so I'm looking to check that out this year.
Yeah.
So
Just,
right.
I'm going to warn you right now. Be prepared for the cost at Mackinac.
Well, I'm going to Mackinac City. I've been on the other side a few times.
Yeah.
You say that I've never been to Mackinac City except for to catch the ferry out of there.
Okay. Well, if in that case, if you're only going into the city, you're staying at a hotel on that side?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they'll have parking for you then. That's good. Because otherwise, you find street parking. The cost to park now at like the docks, it's out of sight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous. So.
And you can't use your state park sticker to park at those places? No, that's city parking. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's private. But the hotels will all have parking, so that's what I would do. I'd park at the hotel.
Yeah, oh, yeah. All right, just thought I'd let you know.
Have a good time. Enjoy it.
All righty, sir. Take
care, Mark. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
989-752-6111. Speaking of automobiles, a couple of things. First of all, potholes. You know they're all over the place. You've probably run into a few yourself, and they can have impact on the alignment of your wheels. And alignment is very important. And our friends at Quick Lane Freeland are offering a complimentary alignment check. That's right. You drive in, it's absolutely free. They'll check your alignment. If you're fine, you're on your way. If they find anything, they'll tell you what they found and what the remedy is. And it's a great service. But it's absolutely free. They'll check your alignment for free at Quick Lane Freeland. And if you want to know what the alignment means to your car, I've asked John from Quick Lane Freeland to explain it.
If your vehicle's wheels are aligned correctly, it will not pull to the left or to the right when driving. It also prevents improper tread wear, so your tires last longer. A wheel alignment should be checked often because normal steering wear and tear can cause your alignment to go out, in addition to potholes and railroad crossings. A correct alignment also reduces rolling resistance on your tires for better fuel mileage.
And, of course, safety, too. And by
If
the
your
way,
vehicle's wheels are aligned
if
correctly,
your
it will not
tires,
pull.
thank you, John. If your tires need replacing, Quick Lane Freeland sells all of their tires at just $5 over cost. But get your complimentary alignment check today at Quick Lane Freeland, part of the McDonald Ford property. And Mark was right. I do drive dealer cars. I represent the good folks at McDonald Ford, where I've done business for many, many, many years. And I just bought a car off their pre-owned lot last August, as a matter of fact. And they just have a wide assortment of vehicles on their pre-owned lot from various manufacturers, from high-end luxury to everyday drivers. You'll find something for every budget. McDonald Ford and Quick Lane Freeland both stand together to help you with all your automotive needs for 2026. All right, we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show. Open phones, 989-752-6111, and that will continue right through next hour. Supreme Court has declined to get involved in a lawsuit regarding Catholic fundraising. It was a fundraising effort in Rhode Island called Peter's Pence. And a churchgoer there has sued the church, claiming that the funds that were raised during the Peter Pence collection were not for humanitarian work as described by the church, but were spent on luxury condominium developments and other investments. It has been through first court. The trial court indicated, a federal judge said that the lawsuit raised a purely secular dispute in which the courts could apply neutral principles of law without getting involved in religious matters. The Court of Appeals stayed out of it, and the Supreme Court has stayed out of it. Now, what that does, it does not settle the case in any way, shape, or form, because the case has not yet been tried in that federal court. It was only the initial judge's ruling that it could proceed, and that's what the Catholic Church was claiming to the Supreme Court, that they should dismiss the lawsuit on First Amendment grounds and government interference in religion. But that has not happened, and it will go forward at some point in time. The judge, after the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit said it could not get involved at this stage of the lawsuit, and the Supreme Court said they would not get involved. So where it is, according to Judge Harry Edwards, he wrote, quote, "This case remains at the earliest stages of litigation with many more steps before the finish line." Now, a lot of religious groups have supported the Catholic bishop's appeal, representing Jews, Muslims, Seventh-day Adventists, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They all backed the Catholic bishops' appeal to the court because what they indicated is if the Catholic Mass is not safe from government intrusion, all of their very special services would be. However, this has nothing to do with the Catholic Mass. It's a lawsuit on fundraising. Now, it's way too soon to know how it's going to end up because it hasn't even been litigated yet. The initial ruling by the federal judge simply said the case can go forward. And that's what all of these appeals to the Court of Appeals and now to the Supreme Court were all about. Not the end result of the litigation, but rather whether there should be any litigation. And the federal judge has said he views it right now, at least, as a secular matter, not a religious matter. So we'll have to keep an eye on it and see where it goes from here. But right now, anyway, that fundraising effort known as Peter's Pence will proceed in the basic federal court to see where it goes from there. Going to be interesting to watch. I mean, there is a fine line. Obviously, in this country, we truly believe in the separation of church and state. It's one of the reasons this country was founded, to get out from under the thumb of the Church of England. And so consequently, we take that separation of church and state very seriously. But at what point does the church stop being a church and become a business? Now, obviously, if you solicit funds as a church and you say you're going to use them to provide humanitarian services, that's well within the doctrine of the church. It's not a problem. But if, as this churchgoer alleges, and again, it's only an allegation, but if, as this churchgoer in Rhode Island alleges, you took the money under the pretense of humanitarianism and you invested it in commercial properties, condominiums and the like, have you crossed the line from religion to secularism? It's an interesting question because I think the church has a right to invest the money to try and increase their investment, if you will, to invest for the future. And, condominiums may be a good investment. They can make money on it. The question is, how did they sell the collection? And I'm not smart enough to have an answer. I'm only posing questions. And then the question would be, at what point does a church stop being a religious organization protected by the First Amendment and move into the secular world without that protection? It's an interesting question. And again, I don't have the answer. We're going to take our last break this hour, head to the news, and be back with another hour of Open Phones.
Why is this Covens? Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
All right, that puts the first hour in the can. We'll be back with another Open Phone hour after the news from ABC, bringing you up to date on the world and the nation. Michael Percha is in the WSGW newsroom. He'll fill you in on the region and the state of Michigan. I'm Art Lewis. We'll be back with you right after the news with more good conversation here on WSGW.
Broadcasting from the